Hey there, 7th graders. I wanted to do a quick little intro video before you do your iReady. And the key takeaways today are you're going to be able to understand what area is, as well as the area formulas for a rectangle, a square, and a triangle. And then you're also going to be able to understand that perimeter is going to be different than area. So if you wanted to get a sheet of paper out right now, copy down this area definition, these rectangle, square, and triangle formulas. Notice triangle has two formulas, and then this perimeter definition. That's going to be super helpful for when you do your iReady. And then let's go over to show you what iReady looks like. So when you log in with iReady, you'll see an assignment that asks you for the concepts of area and perimeter. It will look like this. Basically, what you're going to be doing today is trying to figure out how this bake shop can put solar panels up on its roof to help it become a little bit more sustainable. Basically, I'm going to walk you through a couple of the problems just so you remember what iReady looks like. Remember, you're going to want to get as many questions correct in order to pass the level. So have that paper, have that calculator right next to you. So for instance, in this question where they say, let's find the area, how many squares are in this rectangle? Yeah, you can count up all these squares, or you can just do the area formula, which is base times height. It's got a base of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a height of 1, 2, 3. So therefore, you would type in 15. It doesn't ask you for the units just yet. You'd hit the check. If you hear that dot, you got it correct.
You will find that there are 15 squares in this rectangle.
And then always hit the next button. If you don't hear that little ding, then that means you got it incorrect and it may ask you to try it again. And remember, the correct units for area are always going to be square feet. So if they're talking about perimeter, then it'd be regular feet. But if it's talking about area, it's always the units squared. And just remember on iReady to read and really listen, because here you might think, oh, I'm just going to do 6 times 3 and get 18. Well, this says what is the length of the base of this rectangle. So really all they want you to do is count out the base and say that's 6. And that's just regular units, right? They're not talking about finding the area. They're just talking about what the regular length of the base is. And you'll notice in this part of the video, they're trying to show you that a rectangle can be divided up into two congruent right triangles, meaning that the formula for a triangle is just going to be base times height divided by 2, because the area of a triangle is going to be half the area of a rectangle. So this question says, what's the area of the triangle? Well, the area of the rectangle is 18, so then the area of the triangle just has to be half of that, so that's just going to be 9. And remember to pick the correct units as in feet squared, because you're talking about area. And a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the area of the triangle being 1/2 base times height. You could also say that as base times height divided by 2. That's the same thing as 1/2 base times height. Not base plus height divided by 2. That's absolutely wrong. And not 2 times base times height. That's absolutely wrong. But 1/2 base times height is the same thing as base times height divided by 2. So in this part of the level, they're going to switch to perimeter. Remember, that's the distance around a shape, so you need to add up all sides. You need to be careful here, because this has a side of 2, this has a side of 1, this has a side of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then a side of 2, then a side of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a side of 3, right? And then you have to add up all those sides to find the perimeter. Watch what happens if I enter in the wrong answer. So I enter in a wrong answer, and then they give me a little hint on solving the rest of this. So again, probably good to have your calculator, probably good to have paper, pencil next to you to add this all up. And remember, when you add this all up, you're going to be putting in as regular units, right? So when I add this all up, it's 22, but it's feet, not feet squared, because it's perimeter, not area. So you'll see they'll ask you another question about perimeter again. And again, you want to count every single side. So those 3, those 4, these 5, these 3, don't forget these 2, and that 1 before you add them all up. And finally, the whole point is they want you to find the shortest perimeter for these solar panels to fit on the roof. So you'll notice, well, this seems pretty short. Well, no, it's got a perimeter of 1 here, 1 down here, and then this entire side plus this entire side. So as I move this and make this different columns,
perimeter for an arrangement with an area of 15 square feet.
They're telling you what you want to do there, and basically you want to continue to make this as short as possible. And you can play around with this to figure out, okay, if this is 5 by 3 and 5 by 3, that's 16. If I go here and I go 3, 3, 1, 3, 2, and 6, wait a second, that's more than 16, so I can't do that. So if I go there, okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 3 more, and then 1 and 1. So that's more than 16. So again, it looks like 16 is going to be the shortest perimeter you can make from an area of 15 right here. So remember, that's in just regular units. And finally, they actually want you to put the solar panels on the roof. So as you can see, as I put these solar panels on, every solar panel gives me an extra area of feet. So I'm going to do this until I have 15 square feet for my area, but I want to make sure that my perimeter stays below 16. So the moment I go above that, you'll notice what happens. Look, I'm at 18, so I have to start rearranging this. So I get to here, I have 15. Now I want to start rearranging these until I have my perimeter down to 16 again. So you might have to play around with it, see what it looks like. I think if I drag that there, yep, that would work right there. That's a way you could arrange those panels. There's a couple different ways you can arrange the panels on the roof. So then very quickly, once you're done with the lesson, you will do these these quizzes real quick. Read the question carefully, have your calculator and pencil. This says perimeter. This is 10 plus 8 plus 6. That's just 24. Make sure you enter in the correct answer. You will not get a second chance on this. It will just go to the next part. So if you get one wrong, then
what is the area of this tile?
you'll be less likely to pass this level. So here it says area, right? So that's area of triangle. That's base times height divided by 2. So 8 times 6, right? Your base and your height. 8 times 6, that's 48. Divide that in half. Take half of 48 or divide that by 2. You get 24. And then just remember, say inches squared for area, right? So you're going to have some questions just like that for your quiz. And squares can be a little bit tricky, right? Perimeter, you may want to go, oh, just 3 times 3, right? Because that's 9. But remember, perimeter is adding all sides. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, or 3 times 4, since there's 4 sides. So that gives you 12, and it's perimeter, so regular inches, right? Versus this problem, which says what is the area of this tile? So that's just 3 times 3, which is 9, and then inches squared because it's talking about area. Okay. At the very end, you'll get a screen that tells you kind of if you passed the level or not. And then once you're done with that, go to Canvas and take your exit ticket quiz.